Hey everybody, and welcome to Fresh Out the Box. I am Johananon, the Game Master Extraordinaire and Board Game Guru.
I'm Casualty CDG, a retired child crimes and human trafficking detective turned tabletop titan and improv comedian. But tonight we're not playing games, are we, Jahan?
No, tonight we're, I guess doing homework.
They were just making everybody watch us do our homework.
Yeah, you guys are going to watch us read a book. If that doesn't sound fun to you, it's more fun than it seems.
If that doesn't sound fun, then get out of here!
No, today we're talking about something that I'm very excited for. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Avatar, Legend of Cora, all that good stuff. Obviously, not the M. Night Shyamalan movie. But hey.
Is that no one? I don't think we should even count that. We should just take all those out to the desert, bury them in the sand like the E.T. game, and forget it existed.
There you go. Yeah, no, so what we have here is the Quickstart rules for Avatar, the TTRPG, called Avatar Legends, coming to Kickstarter here in August soon. So,
Also, I'm a big fan of Avatar, and just this cover is like super cool as hell. If I didn't know this game was coming out and I walked through a store and saw this cover, I think I'd pick this up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I'm very excited. I'm probably going to be at least backing on some level to get some of the physical rewards. But we might be able to get our preview copy from the company. We've been talking to them.
Ooh.
Trying to get that going. Obviously, they pointed out they don't have it available because it's a Kickstarter and they don't have a book yet. So
let's get 2 copies from the company. How do we make that happen?
I don't know. Well, I don't think I'm gonna get a physical copy, but hey, maybe.
I'm gonna ask them.
Yeah, let's ask them. I've been in contact. They're with a very nice lady working over there at Magpie Games, and we've been talking. So we might be able to get a game master from them. They have many. Right now, apparently, you can sign up to be run through games by their game masters. Go check that out, magpiegames.com. You might be able to get in with like an official Avatar person, which would be a very cool experience. But today,
I think, don't quote me on this, but I think that's a thing more game companies are starting to do now.
It is.
I think that you can reach out to community managers through things like Discord, and a lot of the game masters and game designers will run people through one session just to teach them the game. They want to share their game, and we're out here trying to make sure that you can get good games and good players and good DMs and all that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a more common occurrence these days, which is cool. I like it. I like this trend. This is a good trend in the tabletop community, unlike some of the other bad trends.
I've just been surprised how like open game designers and game writers and people are to, talking to the fans. They're super into talking to the community, people who are all about their game. Like, don't reach out and be a dick and tell them you hate their game. But if you like somebody's game, reach out to some of these creators, man. They're very happy to talk about the game and happy to run people.
They are. They're very cool community to be a part of. But yeah, so this is Avatar Legends, the role-playing game quick start guide, available. You can get a copy at magpiegames.com right now. You can check it out. You just have to give them your email, sign up to be notified of the Kickstarter launch, and they will email you this PDF. Right out the bat, beautiful artwork. Beautiful. I like. Oh, it seems like it's interactive. Yep.
Ooh, I do like a clickable PDF.
Clickable PDF, y'all, for free. That is quality.
Mine's not clickable.
Mine's clickable.
Damn. You always get the good PDFs.
Yeah, mine's clickable. It is working, and I'm excited for that. I have mine open through Google. Maybe that matters. But yeah, so
I've got mine open through Bing. Because why wouldn't you?
It'll be clickable in about 10 years. So they got the standard about. They have the change log, obviously. Blah blah blah. Credits, much more important. Let me see. Do we recognize any of these names, Gary? We're starting to get to the point where we might.
I do tell you that I recognize John Stravopoulos' name. He's the guy who brought in the X card to the TTRPG community.
Okay.
Like the lines and veils and bales.
That guy. Yeah.
So he's credited there for
where is it?
over on the left about this quick start in the second paragraph.
Oh, okay, I see it now. Interesting. Yeah, no, X cards are a pretty cool thing you can implement in your games. It's just like if you're playing in person, you can have a physical card. If you're not, you can just have like a clickable button. Just someone can let you know they're uncomfortable with something that's happening. Almost every book we read nowadays has that.
I don't think I know anybody that worked on this game.
I don't recognize any of the names, but, we don't know everything. So, let's see. What are the table of contents? World of Avatar Legends. That sounds cool. Start play, character creation. I'm interested in that. Playing the game, running the game. There's an adventure. The Forbidden Scroll. Something about play materials. Pre-generated characters so you can jump right in and play. And then blank playbooks. So, yeah.
So they call their character sheets playbooks.
They say, ready to jump in. Want to get a taste of Avatar Legends, the RPG, without reading the entire Quickstart? Well, no, we're going to read it. But no problem. We've included an adventure and set of pre-gen characters. All right, so you can just go. If you don't want to do what we're doing, go to the website, pick a pre-gen character, and dive right in. That's what it sounds like. Yep. They're not messing around today.
This looks like a big old chunk of tasty lore. You want me to read it for no reason?
You can read as much as you feel like. Yeah, sure. It looks like it has
it's got dialogue.
Yeah,
it's got all kinds of stuff, man. Do we just want to go? Okay. That's not the plan. A crackling rainbow of sparks erupted into a dragon-shaped swarm, clawing across the sky above the awestruck crowd, marking the start of a week-long coronation celebration in honor of Fire Lord Ozai. The feasts, spectacles, the parades, everything about today's festivities surpassed the crowd's wildest expectations. But 3 attendees were missing the firecracker display. Instead, they stumbled their way down the palace stairs while shedding their sunset-toned festival robes for their dimmer, stealthier hues hidden beneath. What? The guards are still here. That's not the plan. Aniki pressed herself against the marble column, warmed by the dragon-bone catacomb's massive braziers. She held out her arm to prevent her companion's shadows from dancing into view. I knew I should have handled the distraction myself. We'll have to turn back. It's okay, Aniki. Sunlen placed a hand on Aniki's shoulders as they snuck a quick peek around the corner. There's only 3 guards, and together, we're unstoppable.
Just a quick question. Is that supposed to be... Aren't they braziers?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Because you said braziers, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just making sure I'm not...
Look, man, braziers is a word I have a really hard time.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Everyone's got one, and that's the one for me.
That's fine. I was just like, am I tripping? Did he just say
No,
bra?
they didn't. She didn't hide behind a bra on a marble
The Dragon
column.
Catacombs massive brazier.
There wasn't a bra in the catacomb, but you get it. There's lore here.
It's cool. It's cool, bro. Keep on.
Yeah, don't worry about it. There's a fire festival, and everyone's
invited. Here, let me
go ahead. Hey, yeah, man, take it over.
Because we have truth and justice on our side, and Aniki rolled her eyes, but a reluctant smile revealed the comfort she took in those words. Hey, you've been listening to my pep talks. Exactly. The truth of the Fire Nation's history depends on us. And when you're fighting for what's right, your victory will shine bright, interrupted Teak, scratching at his neck. Yeah. Is anyone else itchy? Why am I itchy? Were the dancing dragon costumes dusty for anybody else? Why did Aniki and Sullen, spotting one of the guards getting closer, slap their hands over Teak's mouth simultaneously? Shh. The 3 held their breaths for a tense moment, but luckily, the joyous roars of the coronation crowds rang through the palace. Even here, they lifted their hands from Teak's face as the guard departed, and Teak continued in an apologetic whisper. This is definitely... So it sounds like this lore is... they said Fire Lord Ozai, so this is before the 100-Year War.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, right? Ozai was the father of... that was Zuko's grandfather, right?
I think that's absolutely correct.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Yeah, and then you go to the next
Ozai was
page.
the one who conquered the world.
Yeah, Ozai was the one that started the 100-Year War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the next section is the world of Avatar Legends, and it's got that classic artwork. All of this is officially licensed, people. This isn't some backyard wrestling version of Avatar. This is licensed.
It's not our homebrewed 5e version.
Everybody's been trying to homebrew this game for the better part of a decade. And
Like since 3.5.
so I'm excited to see how they actually did it, because we've speculated on how what the best method would be for a long time.
There's things in 5e where you can make your guy like a monk of the 5 ways and a monk of the elements and stuff, and it's just not quite. It's not
monk
it.
Of the elements subclass kind of blows.
It's just not. It's not Avatar. It doesn't do it.
It's not Avatar. No, it does not do it. I don't know. The fact that you're limited to how many times you can like water whip per day doesn't make any sense. Do it as much as you want. You're fucking water better. But yeah,
ran out of
read
heat.
this.
The summary?
Yeah.
Or yeah, okay.
Let's give everybody a feel for the what world they want to play in.
Avatar Legends, the RPG, is a heroic fantasy game set in the world of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra, in which you play a hero from one of the 4 nations who is a force of change in the world. The game is about bravery, friendship, and doing what's right in the face of often insurmountable odds. In Avatar Legends, the RPG, you will all play young heroes who join together to fight for what's right in a complicated and nuanced world. Together with your companions, you face devious foes and dangerous opposition. Defeat them as a team and learn what it means to be a hero in the process. This game focuses on stories of adventure and the personal journeys of heroes through the various trials in their lives. It's a game for people of all ages who want to look at the world beyond the scope of existing shows, comics, and stories, and explore the meaningful actions heroes take for the good of others. The world of Avatar Legends is a fantasy adventure setting inspired by Asian and North American indigenous cultures. A land filled with breathtaking temples, majestic sky bison, and unique marvels of technology. Yet, it's also a world defined by struggle. There are no true villains or heroes, as people with complex motivations come into conflict with others to forge the future they believe is the best. Many people in the world of Avatar are benders, martial artists, whose specialty allows them mastery over one of the 4 elements, be it earth, fire, air, and water. Split across the 4 nations, each devoted to one element. The people of this world have faced centuries of trials and conflicts within and between nations, peoples, and even spirits. For most of the world's history, the Avatar, a unique bender capable of bending all 4 elements, has been responsible for maintaining the harmony among the 4 nations and serving as a bridge between the spirit world and the physical plane. Following a path through the elements of earth to fire to air, etc., the Avatar is reborn into each nation over time in a cycle of reincarnation. While there is only one Avatar, many look to them for guidance and justice, hoping to see the most capable bender in the world address their problems. But the Avatar is not the only hero in this world. In Avatar Legends, the RPG, you'll play one of many heroes of the 4 nations. Your goal is to protect the world from harmful threats and stand up for those without the power to stand up for themselves. You fight on the side of what's right, even if that is the most difficult path to take. And you understand that to achieve peace, there must be balance in all things. Achieving true balance within yourself isn't always easy. Whether you play a bender, a martial artist, or a technological tinkerer, you're pulled between the most important principles. If you delve too deeply into one, it throws you off balance, and you're taken out of action while you try to regain your composure and find balance within yourself. So that's Avatar in a nutshell.
It is Avatar in a nutshell. Well, yeah, so a lot of that was, if you're a fan of the shows and or comic books, familiar to you. That was, we all more or less, all of us here fans probably. If you're not, check it out. It's definitely worth the watch. I think it's still on Netflix, right?
It's on something. I think it is on Netflix. It may be on Hulu.
Yeah,
but it's on something.
A whole new generation of people found this love for Avatar during the pandemic, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually Blake just started watching Avatar during the pandemic.
Interesting.
For the first time.
Yeah, so obviously the 4 nations. There's Fire Nation, Water Nation, Earth Kingdom, and finally the Air Nomads. And then there's the United Republic. That's in its own little box because it's situational. That happens after the 100-year war is ended, and a portion of the Earth Kingdom is annexed by the United Forces to create kind of like, a UN country, which is interesting.
Is that where Cora takes place?
Yeah, that's Republic City.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty neat city. It's a neat setting.
So they talk about that. I do believe that in this game it's designed. I know you can obviously do whatever you want in a TTRPG. I think this game is designed though with here we go, playing through the eras. That's what I was about to talk about. So each game of Avatar Legends TTRPG begins with your group picking up an era as a backdrop. The eras are each tied to a span of an avatar's life, except for the 100-Year War era, for obvious reasons if you watch the show. And if not, you're in for a treat.
That's right.
And focus on distinct themes which define the type of game you play. Here's a quick list that describes the focuses of each era. Which this actually sounds pretty interesting. So there's Kyoshi's era, Roku's era, 100-Year War, Aang's era, and the Cora era. All of those sound cool. I'd be interested to play in Aang's era personally because a lot of that is just kind of skimmed over in the show.
Yeah, because they really hammer on Aang's origin, right? It's 3 fantastic seasons of Aang's origin, and then he does everything, and you don't see him do any of that everything.
Yeah, not really. But yeah, so let's see. What I am interested to find the themes here. Kyoshi's era covers the events after the Shadow of Kyoshi novel. Did not know there was a novel. Play in Kyoshi's era if you want to fight in battles against rogues and bandits and deal with corruption as the nations defend and reinforce their borders.
Yeah, I want to do that.
That does sound fun. And Kyoshi is a badass avatar.
I don't know enough about Kyoshi, so I'd be excited to learn.
All I know is that she created Kyoshi Island. So that's all I know. That's all you need to know.
Roku's era covers the time just before the arrival of Sozin's Comet and the beginning of the 100-Year War. Play in Roku's era if you want to deal with the tension between different nations and the trials of maintaining an uneasy peace.
Interesting.
That could be kind of fun too.
It could be, but that's definitely that more intriguey game. That's kind of like what you guys are doing in the expansion right now. You guys are like right before the shit hits the fan.
I love intrigue in games, but that campaign currently is super intriguey. So just if based on my current settings, I wouldn't want to play Roku's era, but that might change by the time we play this.
Since we're already playing a heavy intrigue game.
But Kyoshi is still number one for me.
So number one for you. Yeah, the 100-Year War sounds fun. Focus on the time just before Avatar Aang's awakening at the beginning of Avatar The Last Airbender. Play in the 100-Year War era if you want to rebel against unjust rule, protect the weak, and stand up to tyranny.
That could be really fun. And there's minor spoiler alert for you.
There are some dark themes.
There's no Avatar.
There's no Avatar during that time, correct.
So no one plays. I guess no one plays an Avatar,
it's the
period.
Only era listed that does not have an active Avatar. And it's also...
So you having to stand up to the Fire Nation taking over everything, right? Which is cool.
Yeah, I also think that... So the reason why Avatar Last Airbender can be a Nickelodeon show is because it takes place after the genocides of the 100-Year War. So the 100-Year War could have some touchy subject matter, for sure. And me personally, I would gloss over some of that. It gets pretty dark. Not only are the air nomads massacred,
They are,
but so is the water tribe. The Earth Kingdom kind of more or less holds their own, but the other two tribes are messed up thoroughly. But yeah, so Aang's era is set after the events of the Imbalance graphic novel trilogy, sometime after the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Play in Aang's era if you want to heal the world after tragedy and help push it into a brighter future.
I mean, that's fine.
I think it could be pretty cool because you're dealing with the fallout of the war ending. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I haven't played a setting like that before. That could be interesting. Yeah,
it
leads to some neat stories.
Yeah, I'm always like in fantasy. A lot of times, I feel like you're always playing kind of in the 100-Year War era. You don't really play after it's over and the fallout and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, no, that one sounds interesting for sure. And then Cora's era, that era adds a lot of stuff. I'm gonna let you know right now, guys.
Cora's era covers a period that takes place after the events of the Ruins of Empire graphic novel trilogy, sometime after the end of Legend of Korra. Play in Cora's era if you want to deal with the repercussions of imperialism and to play in a modernized era.
Damn, they get right to it there. Yeah. So, and also don't forget that era adds a whole new level of technology. If that's not something you want, it adds some Eberron, man. It adds some Eberron.
Doesn't add some. They go straight to cars, bro.
They go to car. It goes to. It's like Victorian London, like had a baby with Eberron, and it's pretty cool, for sure. If you're into that steampunk vibe, like you don't even have to be a fan of Avatar. Play in Cora's era if you like steampunk, straight up. And if not, play. I think the winner for me might also be Kyoshi's era.
Yes! Oh, fuck yeah. I'm thinking Kyoshi.
I would run
Kyoshi and Aang.
So that's kind of the feel I was going for in my most recent D&D game I ran. Was kind of like nations at war and like border conflict and that kind of thing. It didn't happen. So it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. For reasons.
Like the idea of like making treaties and bringing small towns into the empire and bringing them like protection and things, but also, some people stand up to it and they don't like it, so there's friction, then fight, or they there's all kinds of, again, fun stories to be had in that type of setting, and I like that, the pre-kingdoms almost.
No, definitely this is during it, I feel like it's got that pre-China vibe when China was like 100 nations or they're a lot.
The dynasty era.
The dynasties, the dynasty era. That's what like that sounds like.
There were seriously like over 100 different Chinese dynasties.
Yeah,
super awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. No, that sounds fun. I would be interested in that. Each player in Avatar Legends, the RPG, creates their own hero using a playbook. It's a kind of hero archetype, a set of abilities and details and story elements all wrapped together.
We're looking at PBTA then.
Powered by the Apocalypse, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be PBTA. That's exactly right. We feel cool now because we know what Powered by the Apocalypse is.
I still don't understand it.
I have figured it out. It's a new way to play games that isn't rolling a D20. It's not a resolution system like every other one. You don't roll a thing and then add a thing to make your action. So it's this new engine.
But you also kind of still do that.
You kind of still do it, but it's
based
a table
more on story elements rather than.
Yes, that's exactly
stats
right.
And skills. Okay, I get it.
It's a very narrative adventure, and that's where the game.
I'm into. It sounds like they're doing it right because that's kind of more or less the conclusion I was coming to during all this, like people trying to force Avatar into D20, into D10. Like it's like I don't know. It's kind of doesn't really fit.
Do you think that this game is going to properly rock paper scissors the four elements against each other in combat?
I don't think that applies to combat.
Whoa! Why not?
So I don't. Like, all right, explain to me the circle. Who's weak against who?
So it's Earth is strong against fire, right?
Okay.
And
say so.
that's one of the reasons that the fire guys couldn't take down the Earth guys is because they're super defensive and pushing fire at rocks doesn't do anything.
Potentially, yeah, okay.
And I think that water actually beats fire. But because the water tribes were split into north and south, they didn't have a defense against the fire nation, so they were a tribe defeated by being split.
They were weakened after they closed the northern and southern portals that united their people.
That's exactly right. So that's why fire won. Water would have won if they wouldn't have been united. If they would have been united.
But from a purely
and then fire beats air.
From a purely
like Pokemon.
What does air beat?
I would think air would probably beat Earth, right?
Interesting. So I just don't think it applies. I really don't think that there should be a this beat because like a fire. I watched firebenders beat airbenders, and I've watched firebenders beat waterbenders. I watched.
So any level of experience is still a level of experience.
Yeah. So you're just saying like maybe there's an edge. Well, let's find out.
I think there should be an edge. Maybe not. I didn't make the system. I'm asking if you would do it. I think I would.
I don't think I would.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, let's find out.
Like you could take like a tag, you know.
Okay.
That
add something.
Yeah, like fan the flames, where
that
you
is
can
how
use other people's airbending. Yeah,
tends to work.
That would be cool. I would be down for that. So like maybe some element of it, not just flat rock paper scissors.
So when you get started playing, you're making decisions about the game as a group, which is very important to us, right? We always have a session 0 now. We started doing that.
You gotta do them.
It's just a chance for you and your players to hang out and literally tell the game master. I say it every time. John says, "What do you guys want to see in this campaign?" And every single time I always say recurring villain. I always like a villain with a name who comes back no matter what you do. This guy's up to something. He's got a plan. He's got a scheme. I like a good recurring villain. And your game master doesn't know unless you tell him. So have a session 0. Tell your game master the kind of things you want to see in your game, whether you want it to be stealthy and intrigue, you want to steal stuff. Let him know. He doesn't know if you want to do a heist if you don't tell him.
That's very true. Yeah, a lot of times we'll have a session 0, and I find out that my players are going to hate the game I had in mind. It's like, I don't have any of those things. Yeah, no, it's definitely a good idea.
So every player, including the game master, should have equal say in deciding your game's scope, group focus, and inciting incident. Make sure you hear everyone's opinion as you make each decision. Come to the conclusions which leave everyone excited to play. You can use the campaign creation worksheet in the play materials to keep track of decisions.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
That does sound cool.
That sounds cool.
That sounds like something you should pull up while I read this.
Yeah, I could do that. Let me see.
Campaign creation worksheet, so then you can kind of look along at what you would be filling in as a game master.
All right, let me find it separately, and then I'll go to it. Yeah.
The game's scope defines how much of the 4 nations you expect to explore over the course of the game. If your scope is broad, you might sail or fly on bison back from destination to destination, solving problems which affect multiple states. If it's narrow, you might explore a simple region or a city in greater depth and detail, occasionally visiting outside locations, but always returning to your original site of focus afterwards. I've never played a narrow depth campaign that takes place in like a county or a city.
Yeah, no,
all of mine have been broad.
Yeah, keeping a game centralized is, man, that's often a player choice.
It's really hard.
Players like to leave cities, man. I don't know why.
Well, I think it's because players want to see what's... well, this is exactly where we'd go back to the getting started step, right?
Yeah.
Where this would be the group focus. We would all discuss it, exactly. Because I think it might be cool to play a county where, you know, if you leave, you plan on coming back soon. Maybe you do leave to see another city, but your goal is to get right back to where you came from.
This campaign creation worksheet looks dope. It's just 1 page. It has all the avatar pictures, like, so you can choose the era. It has a spot for scope, group focus details, choose a group focus. There's like a checklist. Detail inciting incidents, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And they have examples and checkboxes, allies, and enemies. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little tool they're adding there.
Avatar Kyoshi and Avatar Aang both had stories with extremely broad scopes, adventures that required them to travel the world. Avatar Cora had a narrower focus in Season 1, centering on Republic cities' complex power politics.
Very true.
It's possible for your group scope to change over the course of play, but that's likely an indicator that you're moving to a new season of your show, ... because they called them seasons in Powered by the Apocalypse.
Huh.
They treat this like it's a show, like it's a story, and when you end a season, they tell you as a game master that you can end a season and pick up a new season. Don't be afraid to try to keep stretching out a script or a story or something. It's definitely, these Powered by the Apocalypse is cool. The scopes are over there on the right.
I think those are examples.
Well, you could be right.
So like they have an example for each of the nations, just because. So the Fire
cool.
Nation scope, a single Fire Sage temple could be the scope. The players could choose to establish a very narrow scope, a single Fire Sage temple. The game will revolve around the politics and drama of the temple and the monks there. That'd be a fun game. That'd be an interesting game. But that'd be a small scope game. I agree. The Air Nomad Temples is the Air Nomad scope example. The players could select a broader scope by selecting all of the Air Nomad Temples as a location for their game, focusing the story around traveling back and forth between them and solving problems in many places. The Earth is Ba Sing Se. Gotta love Ba Sing Se. Classic location. Would love to play there.
Love Ba Sing Se and would love to play there, especially in the Age of Kyoshi, right?
That's the beginning. Anything about Ba Sing Se in the Age of Kyoshi, except that the Fire Nation. No, they didn't try to get through then. I don't know anything about Ba Sing Se during the Kyoshi era. The players could prefer a very wide scope, something like the entire city of Ba Sing Se. Such a scope means the heroes will deal with all sorts of problems that arise. Anything could happen across an entire massive city. I do like these examples. And if you're wondering why Ba Sing Se, a single city, is a wider scope than all the Air Nomad Temples, Ba Sing Se is huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than, I think, any actual real-world city. It's gigantic. On a just such a scale. But yeah, so and then scope everywhere the sea touches. Finally, the players could decide they want their story to cover the entire world. Obviously, each adventure will happen somewhere, but there won't be any limit to where the heroes might travel. So that's something you want to discuss with your players, with your DM, what people are comfortable with, what people want. Yeah, and then here's some group focuses. These are interesting. This is an interesting layout. I'm interested to see how they flesh it out in the final product. But yeah, choosing a group focus. So I don't think we have to read this whole thing, but let's give you an idea for when you're filling out the campaign sheet.
Those 6 or whatever right there are pretty good examples.
Yeah.
To defeat a villain or to protect a place, idea, culture, person, thing. To change culture, society, place, or person. To deliver person, thing to place, culture, person. Or to rescue person, thing. Or to learn idea, culture, training, or history. Those are your group focuses. All those
focuses. Those are very, that covers pretty much everything. Those are good. And then you want to outline the inciting incident is the other thing. So you choose your focus. You choose what you want it to be central. Do you want to take the ring to Mordor, or do you want to unite all of the nations under one ruler? I don't know. That's kind of weird. Don't do that. I don't like that one. That makes me uncomfortable. But then outline your inciting incident. This is the thing I was interested in seeing. The inciting incident is the plot of your series pilot episode. The story of how the characters met one another. So this is kind of like your, you know how in D&D you guys always meet in jail for whatever reason, or as gladiators. That's a popular one. Those 2 tropes are ones I try to avoid. But
the tavern, that's one of the giant tropes.
Yeah, inciting incident is what is going to set off the campaign and head you down your road, freeing the avatar from the iceberg, and then escaping the Fire Nation. That is an inciting incident. It's a good one too. God, I love that just all the characters in this book. They're all there. They just put them there.
So
and then
I was
finally,
thinking if we did a 100 Years War campaign and all played firebenders,
it could be interesting.
and we could be trying to unite the world under one leader.
Yeah, I don't know about.
It would be a bad guy campaign.
It would be. It would be a bad guy campaign in a way that makes me unhappy.
No, look, man. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, man, there might be some bad stuff.
There's some bad stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I want to toe that line, friend.
That's all right. I'd rather do Kyoshi's.
I'd rather do Kyoshi's too. Yeah, no, playing Firebenders during the 1,000-Year War is, or the 100-Year War. That's kind of, you know.
That's playing on easy.
That's playing on fucked up. Yeah, character creation. Finally character creation. I'm excited for this. Your hero. Once you've settled the bigger questions, each player makes a character aligned with the group focus. A hero who can bring the world into balance. Everyone but the GM follows the steps of character creation individually, but don't be afraid to discuss your options. Bouncing ideas off the other players often helps people make decisions. So yeah, it sounds like they want you to create characters together, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. It does.
That's also a newer thing. In other games, sometimes it's like very secretive. Don't let anyone know what kind of vampire you are.
So I always thought I like both ways. I really do. I do think there's something really cool about when you all show up to the table and like 3 people are a cleric because everyone wanted to make sure there was a healer, or the more popular, everyone's a rogue, and you're just like, what the shit? We don't have a healer. We don't have a wizard. Sure, everybody's a rogue. This is what you guys. This is what you wanted. This is what you get. Game. Yeah, those types of things lend to a lot of fun, but building with your team is also super fun and just a different kind of fun.
I want to play Ocean's 11. That'd be fun.
Is there an Ocean's 11 tabletop game?
No, just everyone's a rogue. That's what it is.
That's there's like a bard amongst the team too, right?
There could be. You can't avoid it. If everyone's a rogue, if you're playing with those people,
there's a rogue
bard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so choose your playbook. This is the fun part. This is the cool part. You're choosing your character's playbook defines what kind of social role they fill in the group and how the role relates to the conflicts that drive them. A playbook helps define your character's personality, relationships, and even how they fight. Through any playbook can bend any element or bend no elements at all. Well, that's cool. So in this quick start, you can choose from these 6 playbooks. That implies that in the final product there will be more. But first off, you have the Bold, the Guardian, the Hammer, the Icon, the Idealist, and the Successor.
Oh, there's 6. I thought there were only 4 because I hadn't looked at the top right yet, and I was like, man, I thought 4 was pretty good for a quick start.
Not 6. The Bold fights to live up to their self-image and earn others' trust and confidence. Play the Bold if you want to build your reputation and leadership skills. The Guardian defends someone close to them, steadfast and watchful. Play the Guardian if you want to be the first to see danger coming. And the last line of defense. The Hammer is strong, tough, and looking for a deserving face to punch. Play the Hammer if you want to grapple with what force can and can't solve.
The Hammer is tough.
When you're a Hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
Looking for a deserving face to punch. They call me the Hammer.
Your face looks mighty deserving, pal. But yeah, the Icon comes from an ancient tradition and inherited some serious standards to live up to. Play the Icon if you want to be torn between your heart and your destiny. Toph and Zuko, probably, huh? The Idealist has a past full of suffering and tragedy. That's Katara. That strengthened their beliefs. Play the Idealist if you want to awaken the hope in everyone around. Oh, that could also be Aang. And
the Successor is definitely Zuko.
There you are. Yeah, you're right. The Successor comes from a lineage of powerful but scary figures.
There he is.
Play the Successor if you want to struggle against your lineage as it threatens to draw you in. Yeah, that's Zuko. I guess Toph's the Hammer. which is great. If you want to play the pre-generated characters, you can find them on page 34. Otherwise, you can do blank playbooks on page 46.
I think the icon might be Katara.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh, here are the pre-gens. Oh, these look cool. These are cool-looking character sheets. There's like a yin and yang fish thing going on.
Did you already fly down to them?
Yeah, I was more or less open there. I'm trying to get to the blank one. Here's the blank one.
I want to see how cool these character sheets look.
Yeah, your character, fighting techniques. Holy crap.
Those look cool as hell, bro.
Those look cool.
Whoever, I could scroll back up at the top. I was going to say whoever did your formatting fucking rules, but there you go. Layout. Elizabeth, I'm going to butcher your last name. Chai Predicticool. And Miguel Angel Espinosa. Great fucking layout here, guys.
Yes, these are very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, so it looks like each one, they have a character sheet, a blank one for each book. I think that's just for looks, though. I don't know. But yeah, no, there's a whole yin and yang balance thing, conditions, afraid, angry, foolish, guilty, and insecure. Looks like your stats are creativity, focus, harmony, and passion. Very interesting. And then training. On the top, you'll notice water bending, fire bending, earth bending, air bending, weapons, and technology are both up there as well. Background, military, monastic, outlaw, privileged, urban, wilderness, demeanors, naive, playful, needy, sad, haughty, and grave. Nah, man. And then, each character sheet kind of outlines, on the icon, it outlines burden and tradition. It tells you what it is right on the sheet.
These are cool, man.
These are really cool. I wasn't expecting this to be good. It's a licensed game. Licensed games are always 50-50, man.
I'm kind of absorbed by these character sheets. I'm having a hard time thinking of anything other than these.
This looks cool, man. All right, so I'm back to character creation.
No, don't make me go back.
I have 2 instances open, so that's how I'm doing it.
I just mean I could look at those all day.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Don't make me go back.
I thought you were like, no, I don't want to scroll. Ooh, Fire Nation, Earth Kingdom names.
I do actually want to go back. We were just getting to some really cool stuff about character customization. I think we're looking at background passive type of stuff, maybe.
Yeah, the next part after names, we don't have to go through the names. Training and backgrounds.
Yeah. Background is what I was looking at.
Yeah, go ahead.
Military, well, I'm just going to read them all first. You know how I do. And then we'll go back through. Military, monastic, outlaw, privileged, urban, and wilderness. And so the background, you choose up to 2 backgrounds to describe your character's upbringing. Your backgrounds affect social situations and tell us what kind of knowledge and practice you might draw when relying on your skills and training. Also, write down the name of your character's hometown or homeland, either a favorite location from the show or one that you've invented yourself. I've always felt weird as a person playing in a real world, inventing towns myself or inventing people myself. I didn't know I was allowed to do that until 6 months ago.
Yes, very much so you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I didn't know. No one ever told me I was allowed to do that. So I didn't like to play licensed games, and I only ever played homebrew stuff because I didn't want to ruin the other worlds.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
I've had the same with, what do you call them? Established settings. I've also had issue with being like, oh, can I really alter the, It
I always feel like
yours to do that.
Break it.
But
Yeah,
that's what the game's for, so.
You're right. And it tells you right here to do it, so now I don't feel bad.
Did you skip the training part?
Yeah, I just did backgrounds first.
Okay.
I totally didn't even see training. All heroes in Avatar can handle themselves in a fight. It's time to decide what kind of training your character has. Whether they bend one of the 4 elements, or they're a non-bender with enough skill in martial arts or use of advanced technology that they equal benders in a fight. Your choice here influences what you can call upon, whether you rely on skills and training. Decide now whether your character specializes in water bending, earth bending, fire bending, air bending, hand-to-hand combat, or technology. Different characters don't necessarily need different trainings, but they can help make characters feel distinct from one another. Also, decide what your character's signature fighting style is like. The thing about the way that they fight that makes them different from other benders of the same element or other non-bending martial artists who use a similar approach. So that's pretty easy. And then it's into backgrounds, which is where we were, and then that goes into demeanors. Every playbook has 6 demeanors, ways your character might behave in social situations or when they're under pressure. Choose one or more, or make up your own if your vision of your character isn't covered. Also, write down a line or two about what your character looks like. History questions. So I actually used to have a list of like 100 questions I would answer about my characters in my downtime, the way my characters were fully realized. I bet this isn't 100, which is good because you don't need 100. Under history, you'll find 5 questions, there you go, about your character's story so far. Take a moment to think about them and come up with some answers for your character. Those answers fill in how your character came to be the person they are today, and why they belong to this playbook archetype instead of another. For most playbooks, the questions come in the following order. The first question concerns your character's motivation, why they act the way they do, and what's most important to them. The next 2 questions are about non-player characters that are important to you. The game master plays these characters, so if you get stuck, ask them for suggestions. The 4th question is about an object or symbol that your character carries or bears, something really important to them, like Avatar Kyoshi's makeup or Katara's necklace. The 5th question is about why you're committed to the group, why you choose to be here with these companions, pursuing this group's purpose. Next is connections. These questions have to do with the player's connections with each other. Skip this for now, and you can come back to this once everybody has introduced their characters. That's weird to put it there and then say skip it with no other information.
That's weird. Stats. Your stats, short for statistics, in case you didn't know, are numbers that describe how strong if they're positive or weak if they're negative your character is at actions based on their creativity, focus, harmony, and passion. So we're going to find out more about these. Creativity. Measure your ability to think quickly and unconventionally. To come up with yours with surprising plans or breathtaking art. Avatar Aang, Satoru, and Asami Sato all have strong creativity. I would argue that Sokka has a high creativity as well. Sokka, my bad.
Maybe.
Get out of here, John. I'm gonna get hate mail. Focus. Measures your character's ability to perform difficult or precise tasks under pressure or shut out distractions and work in a patient, disciplined, or stubborn manner. Rangi, Princess Azula, and Tenzin all have strong focus. Harmony measures your character's social sensitivity, care, and empathy, their attitudes at taking into account the views and feelings of others, and acting in an honest and compassionate way. Katara, Uncle Iroh, Zahir all have strong harmony. Yeah, I guess Zahir did have strong harmony. You finished Cora, right, Gary?
Did not finish Cora, no.
No, you gotta go finish it. Oh man, did you see Zahir?
That's season 2, right? I don't know
3.
if you're shaking your head. 3, then no. No, I did not.
Yeah, season 1 is Amon. Season 2 is the spirits stuff going on.
I thought that Cora's villains were a lot more forgettable than Aang's villains.
Man, Zahir in season...
But Zahir's the one, huh?
Season 3 is amazing. Yeah, I love Zahir. Yeah, no, there was actually a lot of their issues that they had with their story were because of the studio not letting them know whether or not they're going to have another season. So they were like just writing one season and not connecting them the way they should because of that, which is annoying for them. I feel bad for them because man, it was still great. But But yeah, passion measures the intensity of your character's emotions and drive, and how good they are at listening to their feelings and turning them into decisive action. Mako, Prince Zuko, and Avatar Cora all have strong passion. But yeah, the reason I said Sokka had strong creativity, I mean, the whole episode where he forges his own sword and finds a master, that's pretty much what the understanding is, that his creativity allows him to be a great swordsman.
He has the meteor sword, right?
Yeah, he has the star metal sword that he forged himself.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's fire. It's dope. Black blade. It's very cool. Every playbook starts out with 2 stats rated +1, 1 at +0, and 1 at -1. Let me read that again. So you have 2 +1s, 1 0, and 1 -1. So you have 2 things you're good at, 1 thing you're fine at, and 1 thing you're bad at.
That's right. Better than real life.
Yeah, it sounds good. Add +1 to one of those stats that's important to your character. So you could have no weak spot, really. Or you can be exceptional at something, or you can be pretty good at 3 things. That's cool. I like that.
I like that, too.
That
Interesting
make
balance.
Lots of different characters, yeah. That's very simple. This is easy character creation, y'all. If you're not sure where to put your +1, look at the list of basic moves as well as your character's moves to figure out which ones look fun to you and important to your character concept, and what stats they require.
If you want to be the guy who punches, you might want to get some more passion.
Possibly. I don't know yet. I think so, though. I think you're right.
Well, Zuko and Cora are both on the passion list, so that has to be the punch.
They be punching. They be fighters. Fatigue. Your fatigue track has 5 boxes. When your character gets exhausted or injured emotionally or physically, wow, you mark fatigue by checking off one of those boxes. I can't wait to make you guys check off boxes because you're sad. I can't wait. It's gonna be really funny. You don't have to worry about these just yet.
Besides, like, you know, we're all used to hit points, right? We've seen hit points our whole life.
Yeah.
You can be emotionally fatigued just as bad as you can have your ass whooped. That's a real thing. So I kind of like that that's on the health pool. That's kind of funny.
I like it too. That's cool. It's
where it should be.
That's some depth. Conditions. A condition is an emotional state that makes trouble for your character, making certain actions harder to perform successfully. Stressful situations require you to mark a condition to indicate how you feel right now. You don't start out with any conditions marked.
Balance. Every player character has a balance track. On your playbook, you'll find that the 2 poles marked with principle and idea about yourself or world that matters to you and your character. However, these 2 ideas are in tension for your character. Your character isn't sure how to uphold one principle without denying the other principle. And their feelings about which one is more important change often during the course of a game session. The balance track looks like this, and that's that cool double koi fish yin-yang we saw on the character sheet earlier.
Yes. The ocean and moon spirits.
Ooh, look at you go. At the start of play, your balance and center, those are both things that are bold, so write those down for the kids at home taking notes. At the start of play, your balance and your center are both in the middle of the track. Your balance represents where your mind and spirit are right now and shifts regularly throughout the game. Your center represents your default position, where you return to when not under duress from the pressure of others. Your center may actually change over the course of the game, but it happens rarely. Your balance always provides a pair of numbers, one for each of your principles. Those 2 numbers are your principal scores, or just your principles. Your 2 principal scores always directly opposite each other, meaning that if your balance puts one principle to +2, then the other is -2, and vice versa. Your balance determines how your character feels about one of the central conflicts of their identity, but it's also useful for calling upon as a strength when you act in accordance with your principles. You can read more about balance moves on page 15.
Bro, this is like a whole thing, man. This is like, I mean, because obviously you give players inspiration points and that kind of thing for roleplay. You know what I mean? This is like a whole intricate central part of the character sheet that's designed directly around roleplay and deep emotional connections with the game. That's amazing.
And the characters the players almost have to keep track of it themselves, where this would have been game master work a few years ago. Now the player is keeping track of their own ambitions and their own character balance and principles, which is fun. Your moment of balance is a move your character must unlock through advancement before it can be used. Once you've unlocked it, however, you can use it anytime your current balance is at center. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to be at 0-0. If your center has shifted, you have to align yourself with it wherever it has shifted. A moment of balance is a powerful tool, a trump card for a conflict that resolves the scene and situation as your moment of balance describes. I'm going to read this little descriptor, maybe?
Yeah, this can help, yeah. This is one of the... Yeah, I need an example.
Yeah. Eric is playing Teak the Bold, and he's just unlocked his moment of balance as his very first advance. When his friends are threatened by Fire Sage Bai at the end of their adventure, Eric decides he wants Teak to use his moment of balance right now to defeat the villain and save the day. Teak's center is still at ±0, so Eric knows Teak's balance has to be at ±0 to use his moment of balance. Thankfully, Teak's balance shifts back to 0-0 at a crucial moment when he resists Fire Sage Bai, shifting Teak's balance. This is even more confusing. Eric says, I'm totally using Teak's moment of balance, and the GM asked him to read it out loud. Whatever the move says comes to pass, and Teak's going to be the hero at the center of it all.
Yeah, this is definitely very Powered by the Apocalypse, very City of Mist. This is kind of where it sounds like this is where their tags are starting here.
That's exactly right. I think because you have balance, you can do this big move and you change the scene, is really what it sounds like.
Yes.
Playbook, moves, and features. If that's the only part that talks about moment of balance, they need to clean that up.
I don't think so. I think there's going to be more.
Okay, good.
Because it says moment of balance is on page 35.
Okay, yeah, we're just on 12, so it'll go into detail and maybe there'll be some better examples. Playbook moves and features. While every character can make all basic moves, playbook moves represent the special qualities which make your character different from each other. You can't make a playbook move unless you have it checked on your sheet. Each playbook requires you to make some choices about which playbook moves you want to start the game with. Later on, as your character learns and grows, you get access to more, sometimes even from other playbooks. Most playbooks also have features, a special kind of playbook move which other playbooks cannot take. Features often involve additional details and choices to further define your character, their backstory, and the fictional world around them.
It's very cool. Very, very cool. Combat technique is the next section. Each playbook includes a combat technique unique to that playbook. So the bold's got the bold, the inheritor or whatever has that one. Pretty cool right off the bat. Unique to the playbook. In the full game, you choose to either take your playbook special combat technique or a special combat technique based on your favored fighting style, i.e. water, earth, fire, air, hand-to-hand, or combat technology. There will be a list of such techniques in future versions of the game, so there's not a full list here. It sounds like there's going to be like a skadoosh, like just a big ol' amount of them, which is cool. A lot of customization possibility with that. For now, just stick to your playbook special technique. Each technique gives your character a special choice they can make in a fight. For more on these techniques, see page 19. So we'll get more on this. Growth question. At the end of every game session, the players discuss what their character learned during the course of the episode. There are 3 questions everyone always answers. You can see those on page 20, but each playbook also has a question which only that character answers. Each yes allows you to check a growth box. When you mark the third growth box, you advance and choose one of the options under growing advancement.
So you level up if you do things.
You level up if you grow as a person. So that makes sense.
Whoa, that does make sense.
This game going deep on us.
They done got it figured out.
They got something figured out here. I think this might be fire. Connections. Remember those connections from earlier. Now's the time to fill them out. But first, you have to get to know the other player characters. Go around the table, introduce your characters, tell us their names, appearance, training, background, demeanor, and answers to the history questions. Once you've learned more about the other characters, fill out your connections to link your characters together. Fill them out at one time, going around and giving everyone a chance to define your group's relationships as you set out on your adventure. Very cool.
This next entire page is a very, very long description about how to play a role-playing game.
Okay.
Your game night is broken up into sessions. Sessions are broken up into scenes. To frame the scenes, you do the who, the where's, it's, and all that stuff. Not everybody knows how to play a role-playing game. Some people will read this section. It's not our first game. We expect it's not your first game, but if it is, read this page. Next is the moves. I think. Moves and fatigue.
Yeah, moves and fatigue are the next page of relevance.
See. So I'm reading through it, and it also doesn't really show the moves. What it does say is that this is going to be a 2d6 resolution system, which is nice. But it doesn't say what moves you take.
I don't think that's what this is supposed. I think this is just about moves in general.
Just about, if you've never played a role-playing game, what a move is.
Maybe.
Most moves ask you to roll the dice. Usually they also ask you to roll with a stat listed on your playbook. That means you roll 2 6-sided dice, add the results together, and then add or subtract the stat named in the move. If the final sum of that stat is less than or equal to 6, the result is a miss. Something unfortunate but exciting happens, and the GM says exactly what occurs in the story. If the final sum is greater than or equal to 7, that's a hit, and you'll generally get what you wanted. A total of a 7 to 9 is a soft hit, which might bring a troublesome complication. A 10 plus is a full hit, a complete success, and you get all that you want, and maybe a little more.
That's pretty easy. 2d6,
Yep,
huh?
2d6.
Let me see how I do. I'm going to punch this guy in the face. Oof. I got base 5. I have a passion of 1, so I got a 6.
I actually rolled a 7, but I rolled it in my head.
I rolled a 10.
My
Hi.
My dice are over there somewhere.
I got mine right here.
So after that is fatigue.
Fatigue.
Your fatigue track has 5 spaces on it. When you mark fatigue, it represents getting physically, mentally, or emotionally tired, stressed, or worn down. Once you've marked all 5 spaces, you're on the verge of collapsing or passing out. Nearly everything risky you do is difficult, and might put you out of action. If you've marked all 5 fatigue boxes, then anytime a game rule gives you the choice between marking fatigue or doing something else, you have to do something else. If a rule doesn't give you a choice and just says mark fatigue, since you have no boxes left to check, you mark a condition instead. Read the next section to learn more about conditions. So how do you get less fatigued? You can always comfort and support other player characters, and they can comfort and support you too. Of course, getting some rest helps as well. Sleeping rough, like a night spent under an open sky with rocks for a bed, clears only 3 fatigue. A night's rest in a covered stable or a barn might clear 4 fatigue. And a night's rest in a comfortable spot, like an actual house with a mat underneath you and a blanket, clears 5 fatigue. A week's rest, pretty much anywhere, even in the wilderness, will clear 5 fatigue. You also need food and water to get the benefits of a rest as well. It's not the kind of thing you need to keep careful track of, but if you're trying to rest in the middle of nowhere in the desert with no water at all, then you're not going to recover very much fatigue, if any. NPCs also have fatigue tracks. 3 fatigue boxes for most, 5 if they're moderately important, and 10 if they are major. A stalwart, ally, or formidable villain. NPC Fatigue works identically to PC Fatigue. They mark it to activate techniques and must mark conditions if they must mark fatigue and their fatigue track is full. That's not very hard to understand. And sometimes I have to read rules twice.
Yeah, no, this for the depth that these rules can express, that's pretty simple. Conditions. A condition is an emotional state which leaves you uncomfortable and vulnerable. Every character has 5 conditions they can mark when something particularly stressful happens to them: afraid, angry, foolish, guilty, and insecure. If you don't have a condition marked, you might still feel that emotion, but it won't last long, or it's not intense enough to affect your actions. If a condition is marked, then it really worries you. The kind of thing you might feel upset about for days or even weeks. How should a character act when they're afraid or insecure? That's entirely up to you. An angry Kiyoshi and an angry Aang are very, very different creatures. The one thing predefined about each condition is how it affects specific moves you make, giving you a -2 penalty to those rolls as long as you're afraid. Take -2 to intimidate and call someone out. Angry, take -2 to comfort and support and assess a situation. Foolish, -2 to trick and resist shifting your balance. Guilty, -2 to push your luck and deny a call out. Insecure, -2 to plead and rely on your skills or training. Yeah, literally playing with people's emotions in this game, like some sort of madman. If you already marked all 5 conditions and you must mark another, you're taken out. You become unconscious, injured, distraught, or trapped. Your actions can't trigger moves or affect the scene anymore. You're at the mercy of the other characters in the scene and might be disarmed, captured, or otherwise limited. It's not until after the scene ends that you recover, after you've had some time off or your opposition frees you. When you recover, clear all marked fatigue, but keep all your conditions marked.
So they did not say that your character dies in this game.
No.
Just for the record, this is not that kind of game.
No, it doesn't seem like that's intended. I'm sure it could.
Can it happen? Yeah, it can. I'm sure it could. It's up to up to the group, right? When the group talks about what kind of game they want at the beginning. I'm okay with my character dying if I make some bad decisions, but other people might not want that kind of game, but we might not play that kind of game.
Yeah, this game actually sounds surprisingly good to play with children.
Mm-hmm. That was what I was going to get to. I think I lost my train of thought, but yeah, it's right there. It doesn't say die. It's a family-friendly game. It looks like
potentially yes, but it's also got some
depending on what age you play in.
So you can remove a marked condition in a few ways. One of the other PCs might try to comfort and support you, or you might do something risky or unproductive to clear a specific condition. To clear angry, break something important, or put others in danger. Afraid, run from danger or difficulty. Foolish, take foolhardy action without talking to your companions about it. Guilty, make a personal sacrifice to absolve your guilt. Insecure, offer aid or support to someone competent. Though they don't roll dice, NPCs have conditions as well. One of their minor 3 if they're moderately important, and 5 if they're really important. One if they're minor, 3 if they're minor. Okay, gotcha. And then the next part is balance. This part was unclear earlier. I'm hoping this clears it up. It sounds like a very integral and fun part of the game. It sounds like this is kind of the crux of the system. So balance. Each principle of balance affects your character's whole worldview, manifesting as part philosophy and part feeling. When they appear on your character sheet, that means they're both important to your character and in tension with another important principle, placing your character in a state of inner conflict. Over the course of the story, your character's thoughts and experiences push and pull them towards one idea or the other. When you start play, your playbook tells you your principles. You track how you feel about them at any given time on the balance track. Your balance may shift as a result of several moves, or it may shift as a result of an NPC shifting your balance. This is an NPC trying to shift your balance towards one principle or the other by how they speak and behave towards you. When you're told to shift your balance toward one principle or the other, move your balance, and however you track it, be it with a stone or a penciled in circle, toward the end of that track where the principle is written. When you're told to shift your balance towards your center, you shift your balance towards wherever your center is currently. NPCs can have balance, but only if they are important NPCs. NPC balance tracks only have a single principle that ranges from a 0 to a 1 for minor, and 2 for moderate, 3 for major. So it sounds like they have tiers of NPCs that have levels of depth associated with them. But yeah, so that's all I know about balance. I still don't fully get it. Not all the way. I more or less get it.
I think that the game master section is going to understand it to us better. It's going to explain it better to us. It sounds like the game master lets you know when to shift your balance.
Yeah, it sounds like it says it's on page 35, so that's still to come.
Balance moves. In addition to tracking your character's commitment to their principles, the balance track is also used in 4 balance moves, which every PC can trigger. Resist shifting your balance is the move in which you resist an NPC shifting your balance. If an NPC tries to tip your balance and you go along with it, you can just shift the way they want you to. If not, then your resistance triggers this move. Live up to your principle is the move for calling upon the strength of your convictions to boost you. PCs use it when they want to take action in line with one of their principles, and they call on that belief to help. Call someone out is the move for getting someone else to act according to their principle to actually live up to that belief. It can be used by a PC on another PC, it can be used by a PC on an NPC, or it can be used by an NPC on a PC. When a player character uses it, they roll to call someone out. When a non-player character uses it on a player character, then the player character can choose to roll resist a call out, kind of like resisting an NPC shifting your balance. You don't need to know the exact principle to call someone out with it. The game master just needs to know you have a good sense of what motivates that character. The final balance move is Lose Your Balance. Is a very specific move explaining what happens when you're asked to shift your balance towards a principle, but you already have a +3 of that principle. Then they're all broken down in a much more effective way. Which one would you like to learn about, Jahan?
We just go in order.
Oh, you want me to read all of them? I see how it is.
Read all of them if you don't want.
Yeah, did any of those stick out to you as something you're like, how the hell would that work? Like with an NPC calls out a player's conviction.
I more or less understand the resisting, shifting your balance, and the calling out, and the denying call out. I think the living up to your principle and the lose your balance are a little more out of my grasp.
Live up to your principle. When you take action in accordance to the values of a principle, and all of that's in bold, so take action in accordance with the values of a principle. Mark 1 fatigue to roll that principle instead of whatever stat you would normally roll. If you would normally roll with one or other principle to make a move, you can't apply this move to it. You're already living up to that principle.
Okay, so it sounds like you can be like, my principle is the defense of all that's sacred or something. And then, like, if you're defending people, you can use whatever number is under that particular spot of balance that you're on towards that goal. in lieu of whatever roll you would normally make. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, you can take a fatigue to get a higher bonus to your roll because it's in line with your principles.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I think that's good. I'm good with this. Call someone out. What was your other one?
Lose your balance. Yeah.
Lose your balance. If your balance shifts to the end of the track, and then would shift past the end of the track, you lose your balance. You obsess over that principle to agree that's not healthy for you or anyone around you, and you must choose one of the following: give in or submit to your opposition, lose control of yourself in a destructive and harmful way, or take an extreme action in line with the principle and then flee afterwards when you've had some time to recover and recenter yourself, re-enter play with all of your conditions and fatigue cleared, and your center shifted one step towards the principle you exceeded. Reset your balance to your new center.
Gotcha. That's also interesting. So it sounds like you can go off the rails.
So that's a character death there, I guess.
It's temporary character death though.
It is. It's not a real character death.
Like
that's how
you go. It's like you go be a bad guy for a season.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened to Zuko. Like Zuko's the bad guy, and then he's with the party. And then he shifts back for a little bit of time. And then he comes back into the fold. So it sounds like that. It sounds like, shifting balances. It's very cool. It's very on brand for the show. And then here's some basic moves.
So these are the ones that everyone can do.
There are the most common moves. These are the most common moves throughout the game, and handle most basic uncertainty. They are available at almost all times, except directly in the middle of a combat exchange. Though they can be used in between combat exchanges when the fight slows for a moment. Sometimes moves tell you specific things are going to happen when you roll a miss. For these basic moves, whenever you roll a miss, the GM gets to make a move, driving the scene forward in an exciting, interesting way. When a rule tells you to take +1 forward, add 1 to your very next roll, and only your next roll that fulfills the conditions. If it says take a +1 ongoing, you add 1 to a roll that fills conditions until circumstances change. Okay. So the moves are plead, intimidate, trick, rely on your skills and training, push your luck, assess the situation, and comfort or support. This is very Powered by the Apocalypse. Like, this is all story tags. There's no, I don't know, it's very interesting. Plead. When you plead with an NPC who cares what you think for help, support, or action, roll with harmony. On a 7 to 9, they need something more. Evidence that this is the right course, guidance in making the right choices, or resources to aid them before they act. The GM tells you what they need. On a 10 or higher, they act now and do their best until the situation changes. So 10's a high roll. So I guess on a 1 through, or on a 2 through 6, things don't go well at all.
Man, yeah, 2 is snake eyes, so I can see how that wouldn't go well.
Intimidate. When you intimidate an NPC into backing off or giving in, roll with passion. On a hit, they choose 1. On a 10 or higher, first you pick 1 they cannot choose. That sounds weird to me. They run to escape or get backup. They back down but keep watch. They give in with a few stipulations. They attack you, but off balance. Trick. When you use creativity trick on a 7 to 9, pick 1. On a 10 or higher, pick 2. You can make someone stumble. You take +1 forward acting against them. So it sounds like you can just use pretty much anything. Any of your stats to do all kinds of different things. Pretty cool. Sometimes you push your luck, assess the situation. But yeah, those are the basic moves. they're just very, very crunchy. I don't think we need to read all of it.
No, I was looking down. Also, there's another section at the bottom of the PDF that breaks it down into like your basic moves, along with your balance moves, and along with your combat moves, and everything all in one spot. It's a lot easier to read it than going through all these paragraphs that are so chunky. But you do have to scroll down a bit to get to it. So we'll look at that later. And it's got basic techniques on there as well. So let's see. This is what we really wanted here on page 21, right? This is where bending is at and growth and advancement. Any playbook can have any kind of bending by picking it under training during the character creation. Bending is a constant part of how you act and solve problems, and it's always available to you. When you rely on your skills and training, or push your luck, or advance and attack, etc., you're most likely using bending. That said, no character can have more than one type of bending. Having bending as your training means you use it capably. You may still have plenty to learn, but you do all of the basics fairly consistently. Use the moves and their triggers to dictate when you go to the dice. If you're waterbending, some water to make fun shapes for kids, you might just be comforting or supporting. If you're waterbending to create a flashy distraction, you might be tricking an NPC. Growth and advancement. At the end of each play session, each character answers the following questions, and we read this earlier, the 3 questions. They're going to be, did you learn something challenging, exciting, or complicated about the world? Did you stop a dangerous threat or solve a community problem? And did you guide a companion towards balance or end the session at your center? In addition to these 3, there's also a question in each character's playbook. For each yes, mark one of the 3 growth boxes. If you mark all 3, you growth. The different growth advancements you can take are: take a new move from your playbook up to a maximum of 4 moves. Take a new move from another playbook up to a maximum of 2 moves from other playbooks. Raise a stat by +1. Shift your center 1 step. You may only take this growth advancement twice. Or unlock your moment of balance. You may only take this growth advancement twice. In a full game, you can also advance by learning new techniques from teachers around the world. If you learn the basics, you get a new technique at learned level. If you use learned technique in combat successfully, it goes to practice level. If you fulfill the mastery condition for a technique chosen by the game master, you then move that technique to the mastered level. That's cool. Then we get to the Game Master section. Running the game.
Much of the information in playing the game applies to running Avatar Legends TTRPG as a Game Master too. There are a few additional things to keep in mind as the Game Master: your agendas, guidelines, and moves. The agendas are the goals you have as a GM, the targets you're trying to hit that you always keep in the back of your mind. Guidelines are the golden rules which help you to make the Avatar verse come alive to your characters and create an immersive experience. And the moves are what you can do as a GM to keep the game exciting and the fiction moving. Agendas: make the world feel real. Make the companions' stories meaningful and important, and play to find out what happens. Those should be your agendas, not just in this game, pretty much any game. You're trying to give your players a sense of immersion, and you're trying to have like what happens next be the question they always ask. Guidelines: describe a wondrous world with a deep history. Address the characters, not your players. Be the companion's biggest fan. Ask questions and let your players answer. Treat companions equally. Remember the history of the world and the characters. Emphasize lessons throughout. Give NPCs drives, fears, and hopes. Make conflicts moral choices. Use imbalance instead of evil. Seek consequences besides death. So I jumped through a lot of that. Some of those are actually fairly complicated issues, specifically using imbalance instead of evil. Evil in a pure form tends to not exist truly. That's not, it's usually some form of imbalance, whether it is an inner imbalance or some sort of global imbalance that conflict is derived from. So these guidelines are good. These guidelines are good. Definitely don't just, it's a very small section, but don't just glance over it. Like, ponder upon it. Do some reflection. It'll make you a better game master.
I think it's important because it kind of sets the tone for this game versus any game. If you're not running a setting with the guidelines that they offer you, you might just wind up running this like any other fantasy setting.
It's fair.
So try to do those things to challenge yourself as a game master and make your world feel a little bit more different.
Moves. A large part of your job as a game master surrounds moves. When you're not helping a player with one of their moves, you're performing your own.
I love the first sentence, like, hey, as a game master, you're going to be helping the players with their moves.
Yeah, you are. Game master moves don't require you to roll dice. They just happen when you say they do. They're what you, the game master, say as your part of the conversation. As a game master, you use your moves to drive the fiction forward. You're constantly asking the players what they're doing. Knowing their actions can activate any of the player-facing moves. Or you're responding to PC actions and moves with one of your own. You make a game master move generally when you get a golden opportunity, i.e. the situation makes a particular game master move obvious and inevitable. The conversation slows down or stops. You make a game master move to incite action and to keep conversation going. A PC rolls a miss. You make a game master move to respond to their missed move, following your agendas and guidelines. And just to bounce back to that real quick, the agendas are make the world feel real, make the companion stories meaningful and important, and play to find out what happens. So that's essentially telling you that when someone misses, make the world feel real, i.e. they get arrested, or some actual consequence of a real living world happens. You can't just go break pots in someone's house looking for rubies. Like, consequences.
My cabbages!
My cabbages! Yeah, exactly.
Did you see if you scroll down 2 pages, he's there?
Ha, there he is. He's also saying my cabbages.
Yeah, I was so happy to see him.
It's pretty fire. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my face.
The basic game master moves that you can make are inflicting fatigue or a condition, shifting a player's balance, reveal a hidden truth, twist loyalties with tempting offers, escalate to violence, offer a risky opportunity, threaten a loved one, shift the odds suddenly, exploit a weakness in a character's history, provide wisdom in unlikely places, turn a character's move back on them, or put someone in danger. I like how earlier it said as a game master you don't have to roll for your moves either. Your moves happen, and in this system, if we roll a miss, then we get hit.
Yeah, it's essentially you guys are rolling for me.
Yeah, so it really streamlines the game master's work. You make game master moves when the conversation slows or stops and things get boring, or when the player characters give you a golden opportunity, like turning their back on a villain or ignoring a problem. But the most common time you make a move is when the players roll a miss. The game master move you make can be hard or as soft as you like, but it should always make the player character situation more complicated or interesting. Sometimes a miss means player characters don't get what they wanted, but it can also mean that they get what they wanted in exactly the wrong way. For example, if a character rolls a miss while relying on skills and training to pick a lock, you could escalate to violence as guards see them before they can finish the lock, or you could offer a risky opportunity by saying their lockpick breaks in the door, but they think the door is flimsy enough that they might be able to break it down, even though it would make a lot more noise. A simple game master move that often makes sense in most situations is inflicting fatigue or condition. This means if a character goes through an experience that makes one of the following emotions, afraid, angry, foolish, guilty, or insecure, you can ask them to mark one condition on their playbook as one of your moves. Or if a hero goes through an exhausting experience, you can inflict fatigue on them, usually 1 or 2 fatigue. Similarly, you should look for opportunities to shift their balance. When an NPC can respond to a PC by saying something to them that changes how they think or see themselves or the world, it's a great opportunity to shift that player character's balance. Amping up the scene with a fictional consequence and asking a player to mark their fatigue, mark a condition, or shift balance aren't punishment. It's a way to stay true to fiction, to make the world seem real, to highlight the consequences of heroes' actions in a way that honors their choices. If you get stuck as a game master, target a player's relationships and always remember to make it fun. Take the fight to the players. Introduce NPCs targeting their principles. Offer the players a mystery, or let them talk. I'm guilty of that one.
Sometimes if people are talking, if your players are having a conversation, let it go, let it happen, because that gives you all kinds of stuff to work with. Hey, what's up, D-Ski? Checking out this Avatar game. So far, so good.
I know D-Ski.
Hey, you know D-Ski. What's up, D-Ski? It's the D-Ski. NPCs.
D-Ski been booking up books today.
NPCs. Most NPCs are a little more than a description and a job. Background characters. They're there to make the world real for your players and provide challenges to overcome. It's important to remember that NPCs are characters first and stats second. They should feel real to your characters and have interesting motivations that make the world of Avatar Legends come alive. When an NPC becomes a bit more than just a piece of the backdrop, they get a name. Now they're a minor NPC. A minor NPC won't likely recur in your game, but it's interesting enough to the players to warrant a name. If they become a bit more important than that, they get a drive, a simple to blank sentence that describes what they're trying to do. Now they're a moderate NPC. Moderate NPCs can be the center of a single session of play, but likely won't really recur. An NPC who might recur significantly is more than one session is a major NPC. If an NPC could get into a fight, then they need fatigue, conditions, and maybe a principle for their balance track. Remember that NPCs can't be taken out as normal through conditions. If NPCs don't have balance, they can't shift their balance to take them out. Minor NPCs include unnamed goons who might get into a fight. Get 3 fatigue boxes and 1 condition. Choose a condition from the PC's list or make up a new one that describes the NPC's emotional state. Unnamed minor NPCs don't need a principle. Named ones get a principle with a balanced track. So a lot of this is, I don't know, it just sounds like I'm saying words at you guys, but it makes sense to me so far. It's making sense. So like I said earlier, NPCs have varying levels of importance and corresponding levels of depth in this game, and they have guidelines to help you fit them into the system in a way that is, I guess, cohesive to the setting. Not to the setting, to the system.
I like that not only, of course I like the cabbages guy, right? I already said that, but I like that he's specifically on the NPCs / major NPCs page.
I think that's pretty funny, yeah.
How it describes that you may have a recurring one and you may have to make him a major. Like, there he is. That's the major NPC, the cabbages guy.
Ooh, here, the next page. The Forbidden Scroll is an adventure, but also I do believe that further in, they do describe a couple other things.
I was going to say, this is the entire adventure here.
Yes.
But if you go down to page 34 and then go to the next page, it would be 35, but it's not numbered. That's the one that has all of the next 2 pages have all of the basic moves and balance moves and everything in one easy-to-read spot. I would print out those 2 pages if I was playing this game and give those to my players.
Yes. Plead... Push your luck. Yeah, those are all the things. It's got the personal growth. It's got the combat moves on the next page. combat approaches. Interesting. And then here's that campaign worksheet I was showing people earlier.
Yeah, that is cool, man.
Yeah, you fill this out in your session 0. So that's pretty cool.
We can already check off Kiyoshi's era.
Right, yeah. And then, so yeah, here's Teak the Bold. Here's like an example of a character sheet. They are a waterbender. Their fighting style is water whips. That's what sets their style apart from other waterbenders. And that's just something, these are not things that you're picking from a list necessarily. It's something that you make up. Like maybe you like the ice part of waterbending more. Maybe you like the mobility of like being able to ride the water. Things like that just kind of set you apart. And then here is Legacy of Excellence, which I do believe isn't that one of the from the backgrounds?
So I think Legacy of Excellence must be because Teak is the bold.
The bold, okay, yeah.
Yes, because Aniki is the guardian, and Aniki has Protector's Burden in that same slot.
Gotcha, that's there. Okay. Yeah, no, these are one-page sheets, so it doesn't seem too complex. Doesn't seem too difficult. There's only 4 stats. The most the most complicated thing is balance. I thought so. The whole thing that I've been messing up on balance is like, what do you put there? You know what I mean? There you go. Loyalty and confidence. Those are their 2 things that pull at each other there that are at odds. So they have the confidence in themselves, but they also have loyalty to others. So, like, can I do it by myself? That's my confidence.
They're different for each character.
They are different for each character. Yeah, self-reliance, trust. No, those are what you pick.
Neat.
Those are the one. Yeah, no, they're very cool. Yeah, self-reliance, trust, care, and force. I like self-reliance and trust. Those ones pull at each other in a pretty direct way. Like, do I trust my friends to help me, or do I rely on myself? You know, those are obvious. That's how the balance works. And man, it affects everything in the game. It can really mess you up, and it can even cause you to become unplayable temporarily. Care and force. That's cool. I like those. The hammer. Am I a lover or am I a fighter? Yeah, those are cool. Role and freedom. I don't necessarily understand that.
Role and freedom, you say?
Yeah.
Where do you see this?
Zaipan the icon.
Okay. I'm at Zaipan. Oh, role and freedom. So as the icon, it said that your background was... that's the one I said was like Katara. Yes, so that's the role you're supposed to play in society versus your freedom to do what you want.
Right.
You kind of live up to this expectation as being like an elder or something of that nature, I think.
Yeah, so now I understand this game pretty much completely now that I've seen examples. That's what I was missing. It didn't click until just now. I understand how the balance works a little better. Very cool. So what do you think?
I would play this. I like Avatar. I like this system. I like this art. I would play this.
Yeah, I'm surprised. So I'm a huge fan of Avatar. I love Avatar. I wanted to wear one of my Avatar shirts. I couldn't find one. I have more than one. I like Avatar. All right, I love Avatar. Whatever. But I wasn't expecting to want to play this. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't think. Because I've been rolling my eyes at people telling me they want to play an Avatar game for such a long time. Because I'm always like it never works out with the system. The system's always the system never fits. It's never right. I don't like it. I don't want to play it. I don't want to make it up. I don't want to play it in 5e. And I didn't think that they would necessarily. I didn't have a problem. I don't know anything about Magpie Games or their track record. So it's not a reflection on them. I just didn't think that this licensed game was going to be any good. Didn't think it. I went in with no expectations. And I was wrong. This game looks great. It looks great. It is a Powered by the Apocalypse, tag-based, a very simplistic, narrative-driven, emotionally driven RPG with as much flexibility in the character creation as you could expect from a tag-based system.
Yeah, that's well said. If you're familiar with Powered by the Apocalypse and how those games work, it seems like another Powered by the Apocalypse game. And if you haven't played one before and you like the Avatar world, the Avatar universe, then play this game.
Yeah, it's going to be coming live to Kickstarter in next month, August, in like a few days even.
Dude.
Yeah, actually. And some of the stuff you can get through this Kickstarter are tempting my wallet more than I want them to.
No, don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe do it. I don't know.
I'm trying to find. Let me try and see if I can find the page.
I found it. August 3rd is when it goes live on Kickstarter.
Yeah, but I saw a like a preview of what was available in the Kickstarter. One of them was a box of dice. I was wondering why. Now I understand why. There were 2d6 of every of the types: earth, fire, air, water, weapons, and technology. I was like, why are there two? But they have a set. Now it makes sense. It's a 2d6 system. Let me check. I think it might be in my email that they sent me. Because I want to show. There's also this like nation map that was awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking at their website. I don't see anything. Hopefully it's in your email. That sounds cool.
Yes, I do think... Yeah, here we go. Check out the Kickstarter preview. Let me get there. Let's see it. I'm going to kick it over here for people to see at home. Boom, I did it. I did the thing. All right, so here's the Kickstarter preview page. It's not live yet. It will be live. You said the 3rd, right?
Yeah, I think I said that.
Yes. So here's a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, you can download the Quickstart today. Right now, you can go to magpiegames.com. You just have to sign up to be noticed. To be notified.
Notice me.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Notice. You just have to sign up to be noticed.
Notice me, senpai.
Magpie will notice you. You will feel better. You'll be fulfilled.
Yeah, and then this, I guess, so this is just a summation, pretty much, of what we were talking about this whole time. I want to show you some of the rewards you can get, because they were noteworthy. Like the dice. I want the dice. I like dice.
I want to see the dice. The dice sound cool.
Yeah, me too. Dang it. Here we go. Here's the rewards. Holy crap. All right. So here's the core book. This is what the core book looks like. They have special covers, apparently, that you can get. That have Avatar Cora holding Reva, the light spirit, whoever, I forget the name. It's been a minute. And then Avatar Aang sitting there in his Avatar state. Both of them in their Avatar states. Very cool. Very, very cool covers. Digital rewards, obviously, PDF versions through DriveThruRPG. DriveThruRPG, where you can get your RPGs through a drive-thru. I don't know. Dice pack. Here's what I was talking. Oh, they have deluxe dice pack. I didn't see that.
Let me see them.
Oh man, I'm gonna spend too much money, Magpie. I'm gonna spend too much money. So yeah, here's the dice pack. 2 of each element. 2d6 system, and then here's the deluxe pack. They look metal. The deluxe dice pack is a pack of 6 pairs of 6-sided ionized obsidian dice created by Level Up Dice. Anyone who knows anything about dice knows Level Up Dice, including a pair for each training: earth, fire, air, water, weapons, and technology. Each dice has an intricate elemental design that flawlessly flows around each side of the dice.
I like the look of those dice.
Those look good, dude. Those are cool. And then there's the Four Nations cloth map I was talking about earlier. Very good. I want that. I want that.
You know, as much as I love maps, I like the dice.
I want both.
If I had to pick between one.
I've wanted a Four Nations map before I saw this. Now I see it, and they're like, hey, buy me. And I'm like,
If we start playing in this setting, then I will need a Four Nations map.
And then, here are the pledge levels. Let's take a look at what they're offering here. Fire Ferret, all PDFs. So you get all the PDF rewards, all the books that they're going to be releasing through their stretch goals and everything. $20. You get everything. Winged Lemur. You get the core book, physical copy, all PDFs, $50. Otter Penguin. Ooh. Core book plus all stretch goals. You get a physical copy of the Avatar RPG and a copy of the PDF and all digital physical stretch goals unlocked with the campaign. I don't know why they're showing the dice with that one. $100. You get the special cover. Sky Bison, you get the deluxe dice special cover, all stretch goals. My Cabbages, retailers only.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's they always have a retailers only pledge. That's where the retailers go pledge. That's your down payment to secure like your order, essentially.
We should talk to the guy at Battle Hops and get him to get that so we can get those dice. Funny
enough, the guy at Battle Hops has actually helped me get limited edition books before, because he's a pal. He helped Jenny get something for me for a gift one time that she couldn't get anywhere else. It was pretty cool. She got Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. There wasn't a copy to be found anywhere, and I got one because I have an awesome girlfriend, and the guy that owns Battle Hops is a awesome dude. So here's the prices. Now we can find out. Dice pack on the add-on section. Dice pack, $25. All right, that's not unreasonable. Four Nations cloth map, $20. That's fair. Core book, $50. Special cover, $80. Tempted, Jahan, but no. I don't know. Help. Someone help. Thanks, Jenny. See, my girlfriend's an enabler. She's an enabler. It's one of the many reasons I love you, baby. And then, what else is there? Where are the deluxe? Can you only get them through that one tier of backing? No! And it looks like there's some kicks. There's some other things that are locked right now.
I don't want those little plastic dice. I want those cool-ass ionized dice.
I would take either. But... So apparently, if they get 4,250 followers for this game, it'll unlock the combat action deck. If they do $100,000, which they probably definitely will, they get this dice bag with, it looks like Four Nations dice bag. New core playbook at 200,000. The Adamant, a new PDF playbook, cool. And then new NPC legend, Tenzin. Interesting. Yeah, and then here's the team. You guys can take a look at them. I guess they all got to pick their nation.
Oh, that's dope.
That is dope. Those are cool borders. I want those. I want to use those on our stream if we play this. I can border our pictures or our video. Those are cool. And then shipping and blah, blah, blah. All right, so I feel like, I don't know, we don't normally like necessarily do this at the end of these segments, but like I feel like, pass or play, man. What are you thinking here?
I would play this, but I would like to play. I would still like to play City of Mist first. City of Mist was the first PBTA system that we read. We haven't gotten a chance to really play a campaign with it yet.
I've actually been thinking about City of Mist a lot lately, so that might happen.
Yeah, I've been hungry for City of Mist.
Because especially since we have that other guy that wants to join our cast.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a good system to throw him into. But yeah, no, Powered by the Apocalypse is something that's very exciting. City of Mist is definitely something, but on this issue,
so I'd say play, man. I'm not going to say pass by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah. It's just we have a lot of games to play, and this doesn't immediately jump to the top of my list. But if I had expendable income, I would kickstart the shit out of it.
Just a straight up, just like yes or no, more or less.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I say play. This is
Hell
definitely
yeah.
a buy if it looks good to you on this stream. If you're a fan of the content or you're a fan of Avatar, this seems like a really true to form example. A game, this TTRPG system. Sorry, I got all befuddled. But yeah, no, the character sheets look great. The artwork's amazing. It seems very well thought out, very heavily play tested. Probably, it seems very cohesive. It seems very. It's a strong game. I like it. I say buy it if you want to. It looks great. But yeah, thank you so much everybody for watching us go over this quick start. Hopefully, in the future, we will get to do a look-see-loo at the full release for you.
A real play, a live play.
Oh, we could even potentially play a session. Maybe we could one-shot this. This could be good. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Follow us here on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube, Fresh Out the Box. Follow our new podcast available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Fresh Out the Podcast. That's been going very well. Check that out to hear us talk about everything nerd culture, nerd related, everything under the sun. I even mentioned this RPG in one of the episodes.
Everybody likes tabletop role-playing games, but if you want to hear about movies and comics and more, that's where we're talking about that kind of stuff. That's Fresh Out the Podcast on Spotify and Apple Music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we should have episode 4 out on Sunday, right?
Yeah, we have a new episode coming out Sunday, and hopefully, barring issue, every Sunday there should be a new episode available. We stream it live if you want to watch us in person and see us do all this live on camera without edits. Check us out on every other Saturday. We film 2 episodes. Yeah, follow me at RockFact. Follow Gary at CasualtyCDG, both on Twitter. And yeah, is that everything, Gary?
That's everything, Gary.
Oh no! Follow. Make sure to watch us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 o'clock Central Standard to 11 o'clock, for all of your TTRPG needs. We have what you need. We're playing Westerns on Wednesday. We got Western Wednesdays, guys, where we play Savage World Deadlands 8 to 11. And then Third Stage, where it's our Thursday. We play the Age system. Currently, we're playing The Expanse by Green Ronin Publishing. It is that Expanse from Amazon. And it is very fun. And then Friday is our Freeform Friday, where we try to get indie devs. We try and do this kind of thing. And we also try to play board games. Sometimes in person, maybe. Usually on Tabletop Simulator. But always having fun.
And always on Fresh Out the Box.
Always on Fresh Out the Box. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.